Today we are starting Kimmy Talks Wrestling with saluting the loss of Monday Night Raw, not only because they lost the greatest leader that the brand will ever have in Seth Rollins, but because SmackDown has every big star you can ever want. SmackDown has the strongest women's division and the strongest main event picture. Rest in peace, Raw, from 1993 to 2020. You had a good run, but the blue brand is going to take over. It's day 2 of the draft. And, well, there were some weird things. And a new #1 contender that is the stupidest thing the WWE could have ever done. Let's start on Kimmy Talks Wrestling. Enter new in. Okay, welcome back. So I'm going to start out by saying I'm so proud that hashtag find woman who watch wrestling was trending last night. If you don't know, so that hashtag actually started I think a couple months ago, and it was other women wrestling fans trying to find other women wrestling fans and unite. And it was trending during Raw, which is such a huge deal because now women wrestling fans are kind of taking over wrestling. So that was a super cool moment. And if you haven't already, use the hashtag and tweet because I found new friends, you can find new friends, and together we can be united as one. But we're not here to talk about Twitter, we're here to talk about day 2 of the draft. And oh my god, we had some very interesting things. So, Raw starts, of course, with Randy Orton. Randy comes to the ring and says, 2020 was the year of Drew McIntyre because he was the one who main evented WrestleMania. He was the one who won the Royal Rumble, and he defeated so many high caliber athletes, including Orton. But last week, Orton pinned Drew for the first time ever in 2020, guys. Big deal, big deal. And Drew's like, you know what? You beat me. That is true, but it doesn't matter because when it comes to Hell in a Cell, I'm still going to beat you. I'm better than you, and you know that, and I'm going to cement my legacy as one of the greatest WWE World Heavyweight Champions of all time. And, there was a little brawl that we saw throughout the entire night, but I'm excited for this match. Out of the 3 Hell in a Cell matches besides Sasha and Bayley, this is one I'm really excited for because if Drew can really beat Orton, looking at what the Raw roster is right now, there's not that many people left for Drew to wrestle. So this is such a big deal from someone who came from literally getting fired in the WWE to literally proving to everybody that he is what Vince said he was, a main event star. Good job, Drew. And now we have round 1. So the rumors were true that they were really treating The Fiend for Rollins. So The Fiend goes number 1, then Bayley goes number 2, Orton, Charlotte, and the Street Profits. So I found it very funny that even though Charlotte has not been on TV since around WrestleMania, that she was still in the first round for day 2. And I did find it very stupid. So if you watch Friday's review, I said that they should just unify the tag titles, and they didn't do that, and we're going to get there. But why would you just draft the SmackDown tag titles to Raw and why? Just why would you do that? That's so stupid. But this is a solid round. I mean, Raw gets to keep Orton, which is really huge. And Bayley and Sasha, that feud can continue. And that women's roster is so in-depth right now that it is insane. So this was a really solid round for right now. Our first match of the night is Kevin Owens versus Aleister Black in a no disqualification match. And this match was so good. As I said, I believe that these two have such a great feud. They're both solid wrestlers. They both made their names in the independent scene. And it was amazing from start to finish, so hard-hitting, such great offense, defense from both. Kevin Owens gets the win, and now that he's moving over to SmackDown, I really hope that he get in that title picture with Reigns. I definitely think that because of SmackDown's main event star caliber, that there are going to be some amazing main event pay-per-views that we're going to see over the next couple months. But I want to see Owens there. I definitely want to see Owens in there. Do it. WWE, do it. Reigns, Owens, Royal Rumble. TLC. Not Mania, but one of them. Now we go at round 2. Strowman staying on Raw. Strowman was on SmackDown, then got traded to Raw, and now is on Raw. Hooray. Bryan goes to SmackDown, Hardy's going to Raw, Owens is going to SmackDown, and Riddle is going to Raw. So Rollins to get his wish. Rollins does not have to verse Matt Riddle. Don't worry, buddy. And I did see on Twitter, I did enjoy the many comments that were like, I guess it was in Rollins' contract that he just can't be on the same brand as Bray Wyatt and Matt Riddle. Contract negotiations of a star, ladies and gentlemen. Miz TV next, and Miz and Morrison are so excited to be on Raw, to get away from SmackDown, to make their name on Raw and get themselves in the tag team title picture. And they're interviewing Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, and Miz is, you should be thanking us that, we got you away from Otis, and now you can focus on your career and focus on getting that Raw Women's Championship or the Women's Tag Team titles. And Dana, are you sure you really trust Mandy? Like, look what she did to Sonya. And Mandy's like, this is so awkward, so rude. I can't believe I'm on the same brand as you. This is ridiculous. And when it comes to the Battle Royal later tonight, may the best one win. And Lana and Natalya come out, and Lana's like, I have the person who has won the most matches on Raw and SmackDown, so Natty's gonna win. And they start brawling, and then it leads to a tag team match for, again, the second week in a row, and it was literally the same exact match. So then we had part 2 of Miz TV, and Miz was interviewing Morrison, and Lars Sullivan showed up. Why? So if you had not seen over the weekend, there were more allegations against Lars Sullivan, but apparently there's someone very high up in the company that is such a huge fan of Lars Sullivan that they're fighting for him to stay, so I'm assuming it's Vince. And he beat up Morrison as the Miz went on and watched. So I'm assuming that this is somehow going to lead, if you're following the pattern of things, that Miz and Morrison are going to split up soon, because Miz is just leaving Morrison just get beat up every single week. But this was okay, I guess. I mean, if you're going to build Sullivan to just beat people up, nothing's really changed from when you did now to last year. Like, you have to do something with him, because he definitely can be a name. But like I talked about on Friday, he really hasn't done anything yet. Make him do something. Him and Strowman. Him and Lee. Come on. So now, instead of unifying the titles or doing anything, they switched the titles. They literally were there with Adam, and they were like, I'm going to take the Raw Tag Team titles, and you're going to take the SmackDown Tag Team titles, and the whole problem's going to be solved. What the hell was the point of that? That was so stupid. Can't you just, unify the titles, or, do something else? Poor way of creative. Stupid. Rude and Ziggler come out, and they're like, ha ha, so funny. We beat you last week in that 6-man tag street profit, and you're running away to SmackDown? That's not fair. So they get a shot at the New Day later on tonight for the Raw tag titles. Then we go into round 3. So Raw drafts Retribution. SmackDown gets Lars Sullivan. So even him and Owens could be a solid feud. Lee goes to Raw. Corbin stays on SmackDown. Alexa Bliss goes to Raw. So excited. Very mad that they didn't split up her and Cross though, but I can't get everything I want in life. And now for the saddest part of the whole night, Rollins' farewell speech. And yes, although my roommates did make fun of me, I did cry. So Rollins comes out and says that this is an end of an era. He's slayed beasts, he's conquered monsters, he's fixed Raw for the greater good, and now Raw is losing him. SmackDown's going to become the better brand, and no one can step up to be the leader that Rollins was. No one can do it. And out of all people, Jeff Hardy? Really? Really? So Jeff Hardy's like, so Jeff Hardy comes out and Rollins is like, what are you doing? This is my ring. Get out. And Hardy's like, actually, you're a SmackDown superstar, buddy. This is my ring. And Rollins like, look, I know you just want to say goodbye to the Monday Night Messiah up close and personal, but I don't get it. Just leave me alone. And AJ comes out, and AJ's like, yo, how did you get in a ring? And, him and Rollins had that moment, aha, we're so funny. And then AJ's just like, Raw was never Monday Night Rollins anyway. And then Rollins just comes out, and he's like, what did you just say to me? Excuse me. That's not true. I heard what you said. And then Hardy just attacks them, and they have a little brawl. And poor Jeff, because Jeff was meant to say that there's going to be a triple threat match between the three of them, and he messed up his lines. He said a triple threat tag team match. And I was like, there's only 3 of you. And your brother's in AEW. So what are you saying? But this triple threat match was absolutely insane. You have 3 solid competitors, also talented, all have similar in-ring style. 3 of my all-time favorite wrestlers. Yes, shockingly, I have another favorite wrestler besides Rollins. This was great. So strong. Rollins looked phenomenal. AJ looked phenomenal, and so did Hardy. You know, Hardy and AJ really showing that they could be those top faces on Raw while Rollins goes to SmackDown. And although I was very upset that Rollins did lose, AJ won, and you know, if AJ's really going to be the face of Raw behind Drew and we're going to get that Drew-AJ match, this was the right way to go. But out of nowhere, with the guitar, Elias is back! Whew, this is exciting. So, you know, it's the middle of the match and Elias just comes up and smashes Hardy with the guitar, and AJ's so confused. AJ's like, where the hell did you come from, buddy? So this was actually really interesting because as soon as I saw Elias' name in the draft, I was like, oh wait, he's been injured for a while. Maybe he's going to come back. And he did, and he made his name. This was really exciting. Elias could definitely really make his name on Raw, especially with the lack of depth that the Raw brand has right now in main event stars. I definitely think Elias can finally get his due. I definitely think he may be the one to defeat Bobby for that US title. So this was great. This was a great segment. I think probably one of the best matches on Raw of the night, and I'm not being biased here, but this was very well put together. Good job, guys. Round 4, Elias is going to Raw, Sami Zayn is going to SmackDown, Lacey Evans is moving to Raw, Shinsuke and Nakamura are going to SmackDown, and Sheamus is moving over to Raw, buddy. In that round, I almost swept the whole thing. I almost got the whole round right. And now we're going to talk about the women's tag team match. So literally, this Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke match against Lana and Natalya was the same exact match as last week. Literally the same thing. Like, I think if you compare both matches together, they did the same moves. It was to make Mandy look strong. Why? Like, unless you're really going to push Mandy and Dana to be tag titles, like to be tag team champions, don't do this. I understand that you're going to try to push Mandy to the moon and you're trying to do the same for Peyton, but just give Mandy, like, individual matches. Give her squash matches against NXT superstars to show that she can really deliver. And then when the time is right, I don't believe she should be the one to beat Asuka. I think that would be quite dumb. But if that's the way you're going to go, do it. But putting her in this tag match, no. Just dumb. And, you know, Lana takes the pinfall and Lana's crying in the ring. And Natty's like, I'm done with you. You keep losing. You're a loser. And Natty splits from Lana. And as we see later on, this played a huge pivotal role in the Battle Royal. Ricochet then goes to the Hurt Business and like, look, I want one more match against one of you, but I have a proposition. You're a businessman, I'm a business guy, let's talk. If Ricochet wins, the Hurt Business can no longer bother him. They can't beg him to join or whatever else, but if the Hurt Business wins, Ricochet is joining them. And I thought this was super smart. I think that this definitely has taken his toll. Yay. So I have said that you have to leave Zelina alone. You have to put Zelina with the women's division, and you can't make her come back to Andrade and Angel. Zelina's a strong wrestler. We've seen it in TNA, and we've seen it on the Independents. And putting her back in this storyline is a waste of time. Literally a waste of time. So Zelina's on commentary, and it's just like, I don't care what brand they're on. They're not going to interact with me, yada yada, whatever. Garza wins. Zelina's checking on Andrade, and the lights go out. Dun-dun, dun. And Alexa's there. And the Fiend is there. And they do a double Sister Abigail on Andrade and Zelina. And this was cool. I love that this is going to lead to Alexa and Zelina. I think this is going to be a phenomenal match. But did you really have to put her with Andrade to set up the match? No. Please get her away from them. That's all I ask. I don't ask for a lot, but please, please. Round 5, Cross is going to Raw. We've said, I still don't know why they don't just separate the two of them, but okay. Ziggler and Ritter going to SmackDown. Truth and 24/7 title is staying on Raw. Apollo Crews is going over to SmackDown, and Dabba-Kato is staying on Raw. What he's doing on Raw, I have absolutely no idea because we have not had Raw Underground in a month. But let's just roll with it. The New Day versus Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler was a really good match. Really showed how dominant the New Day has been, even though they just came back on Friday. You are reminded here how good of a team Roode and Ziggler are. They have such good chemistry. They're really, really good. I'm excited to see what they're going to do on SmackDown. I definitely see them leading that tag team division with strong teams like Nakamura and Cesaro and now the Street Profits. I definitely think SmackDown won the whole draft because they have a deeper roster than Raw. Poor Raw. Like we said in the beginning, I am so sorry. But this was a really good match. It hit on all cylinders, great offense and defense, both teams look strong, even though New Day won. This was good. Really proud, guys. Elias interview, and Elias wants payback on Hardy. He remembers, like, when that whole car accident thing happened, I think it was around May or April, you know, when they did the whole thing where Hardy was drunk driving or whatever. Hardy hit Elias with the car. And Elias doesn't forget that, and we all forgive Hardy now, but Elias doesn't. Elias wants payback on Jeff for what he did. And, you know, next week we're going to celebrate his new album, which comes out at the end of October, and this is going to be a contract that Hardy never forgets. This was a good feud. I like that they remembered that Elias was the one who got injured during that car accident, even though it was the stupidest segment I've ever seen. He got hurt. He was legitimately out for months, and he caused them part of his career. So good long-term storytelling. This is what we need. Thank you, WWE. Cedric Alexander versus Ricochet had literally the best ending of the night. If I had like an award to give out, I would give it to Ricochet. So the match is going on, and this was such a great tribute to Eddie Guerrero. So the match is going on, and Ricochet gets a chair. He hits it on the mat. He does like the fake feint thing, throws it at Alexander, and the ref was distracted because he was dealing with Lashley. And the ref's like, did you hit him with the chair? You hit him with the chair. It's over. Ricochet wins. And MVP's like, you've got to be kidding me. No. He's lying. And Ricochet outsmarted the Hurt Business. And now this feud ends so gracefully. Good job, guys. This was really fun. It's an ending that we haven't seen in a really long time. And it always works when you try to outsell the ref. This was really good. Very, very well put together. Kudos to Ricochet. I cannot see what happens next. Cannot wait to see what happens next for you. Him and Drew? I know that's a really far-fetched and it's not happening, but hey, he could form a tag team. Just put a title on him. Round 6, which is our final round of the night, we have Titus O'Neil staying on Raw, Carmella staying on SmackDown, Peyton Royce staying on Raw, Aleister Black on SmackDown, and Zava staying on Raw. So I wrote on top of my notes here like what had happened after Raw ended, so the draft picks. So you have to realize they didn't draft the Riot Squad, they didn't draft Zelina Vega, they didn't draft Tamina. Why? Tozawa? He's a jobber. The Riot Squad at least are relevant names around here. So if you don't know, Lana's on Raw, Riddick Moss is on Raw, Ruiz is on Raw, and then the Viking Raiders are on Raw as well. Natty's on SmackDown, Riot Squad's on SmackDown, Vega's on SmackDown, Billie Kay on SmackDown, so is Tamina. So like I said, the more in-depth women's division's on SmackDown, the better tag team division's on SmackDown, main event picture, I feel so sorry for Monday Night Raw. And then in probably, I think, the worst Battle Royal I've ever seen in my life, Lana is somehow our #1 contender. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't want to know why. So I had said, I'm like, this is perfect. Bianca can win, have a strong showing against Asuka, then after Hell in a Cell is over, can go after Sasha. Of course, my dream didn't come true. Not only was Bianca not even in the Final Four, so it was Evans and Natty, and Natty thought she won. And of course, for the 4th week in a row, we had Lana go through a table, and then Natty's like, I won. I'm like, the bell isn't ringing. Why isn't the bell ringing? Who didn't get eliminated? And so Lana went through the middle rope. So, not over the top rope. Feet didn't touch the floor. Well, they did, but not over the top rope. And Lana won. Why? You have Peyton Royce would have made sense. Why? What are you doing? You know how terrible a match it's going to be next week. And to make matters worse, so at end of TLC in 2019, we talked about how, you know, the women's tag titles, they were the main event, and it was Becky and Charlotte versus Asuka and Kairi Sane. And then they had that brawl at the end of the night to take the spotlight off the woman. And they did it again, because Drew and Orton just come out and start brawling. Why? Do you know how much hate you get for doing things like this? Why do you keep doing things like this? I don't understand. And that's your Raw review. So I definitely think SmackDown won in the whole draft. Like we talked about, they have the stronger division. SmackDown's going to be the A show. Raw really has to pick it up. Unless they have big plans to push these talent, SmackDown, you're going to enjoy seeing SmackDown a lot more. And I don't know if like that was a Fox decision, a Vince decision, I don't know whose decision it was, but it's going to be sad when you see that SmackDown rating go up and that Raw rating go down. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed the draft. Make sure to like this video, comment your reactions to Raw. Is your favorite superstar where you want them to go? I know mine isn't. Hit that bell for notifications. Make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Kimmy Talks Wrestling and Twitter at Kimmy_WWE. We will see you Thursday for our AEW Dynamite review show. And thank you for tuning in for another episode of Kimmy Talks Wrestling. Didn't I do so good?